Hello there, good afternoon. I'm MFA Akosiadeti and welcome to Joy News Today. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, only you can stop this assault on judicial independence, the emotional plea of the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo to her colleagues at the Supreme Court as she urges them to halt the impeachment process against her. However, the Attorney General has, in a swift response, rejected all her demands. And as saw later in the bulletin, Energy Ministry retrieves over 90% of ECG's locked-up containers following fresh investigations that revealed more than 2,500 containers belonging to the power company were found at various ports and terminals.
My candid opinion is containers cannot get missing. They can be misplaced. If they get lost at sea, you are immediately informed.
And as well, government expands free SHS to private schools in a major reform by the Mahama administration. Also in the bulletin, we head to Lantingpa in the Northeast Gonja district, where teachers roam the village each morning, pleading with parents to allow their children to come to school.
Also, they looking at the structure of the school. It is also another factor. Because when you look at the structure, no one will tell you that even a serious child or a serious parent will not like to bring the child to the school. The windows, the doors, even the ground, no even furniture, no enough furniture.
Join is independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay for details. Thank you for staying. We start with the suspended Chief Justice, who has described the ongoing investigation by the Proman Committee to potentially remove her from office as unjust and a blatant mockery of justice. In a supplementary affidavit filed at the Supreme Court registry in support of a motion for an interlocutory injunction, Justice Gertrude Torkornoo expressed concerns over what she termed persistent violation of her constitutional rights and a sustained assault on judicial independence. The Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, has swiftly rejected all her demands. We'll share with you shortly, but first, Legal Affairs correspondent Lateef Idris joins me in studio with the details of Justice Gertrude Torkornoo's supplementary affidavit filed at the Supreme Court. Lateef, when I see you, I see the court. What's she asking for?
Okay, so it's a 15-point affidavit that her ladyship, the Chief Justice, has brought before the Supreme Court for consideration. And quickly we'll run through those. So first one, she introduces herself to the court and says, I respectfully seek leave of this honorable court to bring to the court's attention various developments since the filing of the present application, which evidence a complete desecration of my basic constitutional rights to a fair trial, violation of my dignity, and subjection to inhumane and degrading treatment. And this is the part that when I read it, I thought it was telling that degrading treatment of a kind not meted out to even accuse persons on trial for treason and other offenses against the state. This, for me,
she must really feel violated.
Yeah. For the Chief Justice to say this, you feel she's really not happy with what is currently unfolding. Then we go to the next point. She says, I was informed by my lawyer, Kwabena Edukusi, and Kwabena Edukusi was in court when remember last 2 weeks, an organization was in the Supreme Court and also filed an affidavit for interlocutory injunction to be placed on the hearing and all of that. He was there representing the Chief Justice herself.
In that
particular hearing.
Okay.
And so she makes reference to him here, that Kwabena Edukusi, that the proceedings of the committee set up by the president to inquire into the 3 petitions filed against me had been adjourned to a day after the commencement of our action in this honorable court. That was on the 22nd of May, 2025. CJ clearly not happy. On the 22nd May 2025, I appeared before the committee together with my lawyers and informed the committee members of the suit I had instituted against the Attorney General and the committee members, in response to which the committee requested to receive copies of the processes filed and adjourned proceedings to the following day, Friday, 23rd May 2025. All of these, the CJ is making the point that the committee is violating the authority of the Supreme Court.
Per the date that
she had filed at the court.
Okay.
So the expectation is that once that is done, the committee should cease work.
But the interlocutory injunction hasn't been granted.
That was what the Attorney General had said in its response.
Okay.
So it goes on and says, on the 23rd May 2025, notwithstanding receipt of the processes filed in the Supreme Court, including the application for interlocutory injunction, the members of the committee indicated their resolve to proceed with the conduct of the inquiry. This was so, even though I have to date not been told the basis for the determination of a prima facie case against me and the specific allegations in respect of which a prima facie case has been established for me to answer, to enable me determine my legal rights or adequately prepare a defense to the charges against me, making the point that with how processes have gone so far, she's incapacitated. So she doesn't know the charges against her. We know there were 3 initial petitions. Today we are told there are 5 petitions. She doesn't know which petition, based on which petitions were the prima facie case made or determinations made.
There were 3 before the 2.
Before the 2.
And this 3, the presidency or the spokesperson indicated that they have been forwarded to her and that the prima facie case has been determined on those 3 first.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so she doesn't know which, amongst the 3, which one. And on the 3, which of the allegations made, she doesn't know. So she can't put up an adequate defense.
Okay.
The committee refused to recognize my counsel simply because I was not personally present and proceeded to fix subsequent hearing dates and make arrangement for the hearing without involving my counsel, even though he was present. The committee
and this counsel at the committee level will be who?
Kusi.
Still Kusi?
Kusi, yes.
Okay.
Kusi. Okay. Kusi is the one representing her at the committee level.
At the committee level.
Now we know Godfrey Dame is representing her at
for the
Supreme
relief
Court.
of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Right.
So the committee shockingly simply refused to recognize the same counsel on whom it had served a hearing notice only a day before.
Okay.
Other developments like the denial of access into the hearing room for my husband and children, searches on my body, denial of access to telephone and laptop for myself and my lawyers, even though counsel for petitioners have access to their phones and laptops, and the conduct of the hearing itself in a high security zone at the premises of the castle, Osu, show a deliberate effort to subject me to mental torture.
I mean, when a person says that you're subjecting me to mental torture, you cannot argue that. What affects somebody mentally cannot be debated.
And degrading treatment in violation of my fundamental rights.
Okay.
So all Article 146 proceedings, with the exception of the one I am being subjected to, had hitherto been held in a judicial facility, specifically the courts complex.
Okay. The
location of proceedings affecting me to cordoned high security facility boggles the mind.
This would be the last part of her supplementary affidavit, right?
The persistent violations of my constitutional rights show that the whole proceedings initiated against me are a mockery of justice and a ruse to unjustifiably remove me from office as the Chief Justice.
Well, now we know what she has been telling the Supreme Court. The Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, has responded, and the host of the Pulse, Elton Brobe, joins me via Zoom to give us the 6 points of that response. Elton, let's start.
5-point resolution that the Attorney General has put before the Supreme Court. And the AG says the in-camera hearing that the lawyers for the suspended Chief Justice are demanding geared at safeguarding not only the CJ but the entire judiciary, and therefore cannot be waived. And so it's unclear how the Supreme Court will come to a decision on this particular matter. The AG again says there is no basis in law for the 2 Supreme Court judges to be restrained for participating in the petitions probe. Specifically, he referenced Justice Samuel Adibu-Asiedu. The AG says he did not participate in the injunction hearing and therefore cannot be precluded. There's a case against Gabriel Paman, who is the chairman of this 5-member.
Is my network challenging me with Elton? But we've been trying to bring you the responses from the Attorney General, and you realize that the responses from the Attorney General. Right. Let's go back to Elton. Elton.
Right. So if I was referencing the response to the AG to the suit filed at the Supreme Court by the suspended Chief Justice to the lawyer Godfrey Abuada. And among other things, they demanded a live telecast of the procedure. That the AG in this response to the suit says that the in-camera hearing is a constitutional command here as safeguarding not only the Chief Justice but the entire judiciary, and therefore cannot be waived. The AG says there is no basis in law for the 2 Supreme Court judges to be restrained from participating in the petition probe. Specifically on these 2 judges that are also sitting on the 5-member committee, Justice Adibu-Asiedu. The AG says he did not participate in the injunction hearing and therefore cannot be precluded. There's a case against Gabriel Paman, who is the chairperson of this 5-member committee. The AG in this writ before the Supreme Court make reference to the fact that one of the petitioners in a matter involving the EcoBank Ghana, the chairman of the committee, on 4 occasions ruled in favor of the petitioner when he came before the court, alleging some impropriety on the part of EcoBank, whilst the other members, including the CBA, voted against the relief that the petitioner was seeking. And therefore, then this petitioner has petitioned the president, demanded the removal of the stage. And then Gabriel Paman, who on the bench ruled in favor of the petitioner, the same person who is presiding over this 5-member committee.
And so she sends,
yes, compromise position on the matter is already known. For that matter, it will not be impartial in terms of determining whether the suspended Chief Justice acted in accordance with law or against it. Now, the Attorney General argues that Mr. Paman's participation in cases put before the court by one of the petitioners cannot constitute evidence of bias. Again, the Attorney General further said that members of the committee have taken the necessary oath of office contrary to claims by the Chief Justice, and therefore concludes that the case for injunction has not been made out. For that reason, it should be dismissed.
Okay. All right, Elton, thank you so much. I still have Latif with me. Latif, so the main relief, the 16 reliefs, will be heard when?
So tomorrow in the morning, the Supreme Court will call the case. And as to whether or not the injunction relief that the CJ is asking the Supreme Court to deliver would actually be given or otherwise. So that case will be called tomorrow at the Supreme Court.
A few things that she raised, talking about body searches, not allowing her family to be part of the hearing at the committee level. We didn't see the Attorney General addressing this one particularly. This looks like a bulk response.
Yeah, so the Attorney General sought to box everything together and give a general response.
Okay.
But I'm sure with the document they will file in court, they will go into the meat and address the specifics as has been raised by the Chief Justice.
I cannot wait for tomorrow when you bring us that report from Court, Latif.
All right.
Now, away from the court, the Ministry of Energy has traced 2,637 containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana, more than twice the number initially reported missing. A committee set up to investigate the whereabouts of 1,357 unaccounted for containers discovered the full consignment at various terminals within the Tema port. The findings follow a March 2025 directive by the Energy Minister John Abdullahi Jinapor after discrepancies emerged between ECG's records and independent port audits. You recall in April this year, the immediate past managing director of ECG, Samuel Dubuque Mahama, refuted claims regarding missing containers at the Tema port. Speaking on the Super Morning Show, Mr. Mahama stated that there is no way a container could go missing at the port. He explained that containers can only be misplaced or lost at sea. but they're traceable using their unique identification numbers.
As at the last time the minister spoke at the beginning of this whole container gate or container saga, he said the containers are in the port. The conversation would have been different if the containers had left the port and they were in the custody of what? ECG. And then the containers got lost from the yard of ECG. Not so. But in this regard, the containers are within the port of the Republic of Ghana and it's within the control of GPHA and Ghana Customs. My candid opinion is containers cannot get missing. They can be misplaced. If they get lost at sea, you are immediately what? Informed. Since there is no record to the fact that containers got lost at sea, container, because of the international supply chain logistics, there's a platform. When you key in a container, the way bill, who was in control of the container, all of that is there. I just think, we should dial it down a notch. Let's all assist the minister. Because we all need to get to the bottom of this, to get to the bottom of where each container sits. And I think it's just a matter of all of us, including ECG, including the two state agencies who are in control of the port, have a proper sit down, go through the paperwork, run it through the system, and definitely we'll come to the right conclusions.
So are you saying the containers are there at the ports?
What I'm saying is the containers cannot get missing. At worst, they have been misplaced, or the only other option of a container leaving the port is through an auction. So there's also a database that will show which containers have been auctioned. So let's just use the system, because international supply chain logistics is one thing that is sacrosanct. Like they are very, very particular on it. A container's number lives with it till the day it dies. When the container is dying, that number also dies. When it's decommissioned for people to do container homes and all of that, the number dies with that container, and then new ones are generated.
Well, we have a breakdown of found containers, and Isaac Ofieje, lead data and research analyst here at Joy News, joins me in studio, and let's just put some sense and some understanding to the data or the figures.
Well, we're still not possibly at the bottom of this whole issue because per what we are analyzing, we are still seeing some sort of discrepancies. Because we understand that the transition team had indicated that the total number of containers missing was around somewhere 3,000 containers. And now fresh reports or fresh details that we are getting from the Energy Ministry shows that there is some sort of progress in terms of trying to retrieve this quote missing containers. And the fresh data is that they are able to track or trace about 2,637 of these supposedly missing containers. And I mean, they have also been able to, this is the total number that they've been able to track so far, 2,337 tracks so far. And in terms of those that have been able to retrieve, that's also around 2,500. And that gives you, if you do the math, that's more than 97% of the total number of containers that have been able to retrieve so far. Looking at what is being tracked versus what is being retrieved. This is the latest investigative report. Remember that there was an initial one that was carried out, but even with this latest one, you still ask yourself, where is the remaining 54 containers that, I mean, if you do the tracking and tracing, which means that the latest report still was not able to find the whereabouts of about 54 containers that we are getting information from. But where did they retrieve these containers from? Just like Dubik said,
the little over 2,000.
2,000, yeah, 2,500. Okay. Where were they able to retrieve these from? He said that containers can never get missing because they have peculiar numbers and they leave with them till the container possibly dies. In fact, if you do the math or do the breakdown, you see that this was not found at one place. It was scattered across. Look at the Meridian Port Service, the total number of containers that they were able to retrieve from there in terms of the Energy Ministry, 860. And remember that this was a joint investigative team. The Energy Ministry was there, Transport Ministry, National Security. We also had the GPHA,
Port and Harbours Authority.
Exactly. Yeah. And then also some other relevant agencies also teaming up for this new report that we are seeing. You go to the GPHA terminals, that was the highest. They were able to find some 1,237 of these containers. Also, the national security evacuation exercise that was carried out, we understand that 272 of the missing containers were actually found using that means, and the Ameris terminal, also some 194 containers found there. There were also 20 found at the Atlas manufacturing terminal. So that tells you that, I mean, the 3,000 that the
which is a figure, overall figure we're working with.
It's still that big difference if you compare what has been able to we've been able to retrieve now versus the initial figure that I was given. Because we understand that there was even an initial committee that came out to say that, look, ECG was quoting 2,462. But when we went to the port to do our counting, we were able to find only 1,134, which meant that they could not account or see 1,328. And we understand that there are still people under investigation. And we understand total arrest so far is around 14 people. Some, 10 Chinese and 4 Ghanaians are still being investigated with respect to this missing containers issue. But, I mean, what we are asking is that why so many discrepancies? And we understand it's because of the audit process and the fact that this is still a continuing, issue where the big number is the 3,000 pointed out by the transition team. We understand that so far. The total amount that has been able to been retrieved so far is a little above 2,500. So let's see how this actually travels.
Can you dare say that Mohammed Dubik in that interview was nearly right?
Not nearly right, but I think he was right. Well, not missing, but possibly misplaced. And this current data is showing that the containers were actually not missing, but maybe
indeed misplaced.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kofi. Now, away from ECG and its missing containers, in a significant policy shift aimed at expanding access to secondary education and easing congestion in public senior high schools, the government has announced that private senior high schools will now be included in the government's free SHS program as part of efforts to fulfill its campaign promise. Deputy Education Minister Dr. Clement Apag, during a press briefing on new guidelines for school selections for BECE candidates, said the inclusion of private SHS into the free SHS framework is a strategic move to reduce the pressure on oversubscribed category A and B schools and to support the eventual phasing out of controversial double-track system.
As part of our campaign promise, we have been working very, very diligently to bring on board private senior high schools to participate in the delivery of the free senior high school program. Meetings have been held, engagements have been done, and we are very certain that with the diligence that we expect from our side and the eagerness of the private schools to participate, the private schools would deliver in their participation. We believe very strongly that in fulfilling this manifesto campaign promise, this is going to serve as an artery in helping us bring an end to what we all describe as the obnoxious double-track system.
Now, the Deputy Minister also has issued a directive banning all head teachers and teachers from filling out school selection forms for basic education certificate examination candidates without the explicit consent of a parent or guardian.
Parents may seek guidance from their junior high school authorities in filling out the school selection forms. Parents are entreated to take a keen interest in this school selection exercise, as this will determine the high school their wards will attend after the completion of their basic education. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also important to note that no head of school or teacher is permitted to fill out the school selection form of any candidate without the consent of the parent or guardian. the school selection form must be signed off by the parent or guardian and submitted to the head teacher of the junior high school that the candidate attends. To parents and guardians, we expect you to keep a copy of the school selection form. Ladies and gentlemen, the school selection exercise has seen several modifications over the years, and one of the major reforms is to allow candidates to select Category C schools that have similar facilities like Category A and B schools, which are overly subscribed, as we all know. It is important to select Category C schools in order to ease the pressure on the overly subscribed Category A and B schools. It is worth noting that some Category C schools have indeed equally produced good senior high school graduates that are currently contributing to the facelift.
You're watching Joy News today. In other stories, the special anti-galamsey team set by the Inspector General of Police has arrested 28 illegal miners, 7 of them Chinese nationals and 21 Ghanaians in the Awowin and Amenfi West municipalities of the Western and the Western North regions. Despite the ongoing raids in Sabreboy and its environs, the miners were found operating in reserves close to Enchi. The team seized 3 excavators, bringing the total of excavators at the Sabreboy camp to 99. Erastus Asaridonko reports.
It's been about 3 months now since the Inspector General of Police initiated raids, series of them, on Sabreboy, Awowin municipality, the Amenfi area, trying to raid the forest and the rivers here of illegal miners. In the past 3 days, 28 illegal miners have been arrested at Papueso and Pantonso, both in the Awowin and Amenfi West municipalities. Following screening of the 21 Ghanaian suspects and compiling of statements, 11 of the suspects were released on bail, whilst all 7 Chinese nationals and the remaining suspects have been transferred to Accra for prosecution. 3 excavators found operational at the 2 sites have been conveyed to the team's camp at Sabreboy for safekeeping. This brings to 99 total number of excavators found at the Sabreboy camp of the team at the moment. The team still faces stiff-necked individuals who continue to mine by roads, settlements, and forests despite the crackdown. At Papueso, the team had to stop the continued pollution of this stream by individuals operating champagne machines. On our way to check the situation in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve, the team accosted Prince Kwame Asante, a known frontrunner for illegal mining entities in the Apamprama Forest Reserve. A search in his car revealed a foreign pistol as he sent officers on a wild goose chase on his mission in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. The team has so far cleared villages along the Tano of the illegal miners who once occupied and polluted the river. The result of illegal mining, which has existed and thrived for close to 7 years, is visible along the Tano, the Sabreboy township, along the main airstrip, and inside its forest.
I commend them for sanitizing this area. We are heaving a sigh of relief. Although there are no jobs, we cannot mine in forests and water bodies. The police have really helped us. We have to stop them. Yes, we have to stop them. I wish the police would stay here to protect the forest.
Yeah, oh, it's very nice. It's very nice. But my destiny is we don't have problem. But if they are mining into there to destroy the river, it is very bad. Yeah.
Thank you. So the fight is on. The team is not leaving anytime soon, and the IGP is on a relentless war against illegal mining. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asare Donko, Amenfi, our Win Municipality, Western Region, Western North.
Now, the Ghana Health Service has confirmed 10 new cases of Mpox. It's bringing the country's total case count to 19. According to health officials, 5 of the confirmed cases are currently on admission and are receiving treatment. No fatalities have been recorded so far in the latest outbreak. Now, here is a breakdown from the Ghana Health Service on your screen now. We have recorded as of yesterday, 26th of May, 2025, 10 new cases, bringing the total to 19. We have no new deaths. We have also no total deaths. However, 5 of these cases or patients are on admission as well. And that's the current update. We're still following on this developing story. We'll be bringing you updates on that. Now, you're watching Joy News today. Still to come in our Crumbling Start series, we head to Lantigba in the Northeast Gonja district, where teachers roam the village each morning, pleading with parents to allow their children to come to school.
It is also another factor, because when you look at the structure, no one will tell you that even a serious a child or a serious parent will not like to bring the child to the school. The wind.
All right, welcome to business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Country Managing Partner Deloitte Ghana is urging government to extend the IMF program after President Mahama signaled that there would be no extension. Speaking to Joy Business, Daniel Kojo-Owusu said an extension is essential to support the ongoing economic recovery and ensure stability.
I've noted is that as a country, we've been reckless when the IMF is not in the room. So what we're saying is that we've seen with the IMF program, there's a lot of confidence in the system. And we've seen that has brought a lot of positive into the system. And it's part of all the things that we are seeing. So for us, we are not saying that IMF should completely take over. What we are saying is that where we are, we need to solidify it. We need to ensure that we have a full grounding before we can decide to do the thing. So that's what we are asking, if the government can consider a year or 2 more, so that we can consolidate the gains that we have talked so far. That's all that we are asking. That because it is good, it has brought us to what we are seeing now. Why not? A year more will not break anything. So that's what we are asking. Not that IMF should stay forever, but we think that a year or 2 more will keep us in check. And when the fundamentals are positive and everything's working, we can take that decision.
There's also a school of thought that we're seeing some gains now. Why don't we leverage and rather run our economy instead of seeking for an extension? What about that?
Yeah, so I think those thoughts are all good. So it depends. The question is whether our fundamentals are now resolved. So if we think that we are in that position where the issues, the fundamental lingering issues that keep coming back are resolved in terms of our economy base, what cocoa and the gold, those are the main 2 things, cocoa and the gold. And the prices can keep going up and down. If we think that we've got the structure right, then we are happy, we move forward. But we think that we need to take our time. We've started to see some groundwork coming up. And we think that a bit more time, and we are talking a very, very short term, a year or 2 more, and then we are okay that we can move on. But again, at the end of the day, the government see more than we can see, and we are only calling the government to consider.
Now, as part of its corporate social responsibility, Casona Global Imaging has organized a free Mindway demonstration and training session aimed at empowering healthcare professionals and students. Here's more in this report.
A specialized training session held at Accra Technical University has given students hands-on exposure to advanced medical imaging technology, effectively bridging the gap between classroom theory and real-world practice. Speaking at the session, sales lead at Kasona Global Imaging, Gladys Tete, emphasized the importance of such initiatives in enhancing the academic and professional development of students.
Most students will go through school without having to do practical trainings like this, and we believe when we bring the practical training to the student, there is no way they will miss what we are trying to teach. You get what we are trying to do here. So training, capacity building is very important to Kasona Global Imaging, and that is why we want to involve the students in today's training on 3D, the use of 3D and 4D in ultrasound. Bringing the training to the students is also equally important so that they build expertise while they are still in school. By the time they are done with school, I believe that they will be better off than they came to school.
Midday clinical application specialist Minilik Mengisu also highlighted the growing importance of technical training in light of rapid advancements in medical technology.
The medical imaging science is very dynamic. You will see improvements every single day, technological things every single day. Even Midday works on research and development for developing new techniques, new technologies every day on our products. So equipping our students, our professionals with technologies, one, this will help them optimize the image quality, two, will enhance the capacity for them to detect any type of pathologies easily and accurately. So it's always good so that they know the technological advancements which is now true across all the world.
Representing the university, Dean of Faculty of Applied Sciences, Professor Nanayao Asabri, commended the initiative and reaffirmed its relevance to the institution's academic mission.
The students are going to gain more knowledge about what happens in society in terms of their profession. They are going to be able to work harder, and they are going to be able to, be fit for purpose in terms of what they do. Industry is saying that what academia is doing has gaps, and then academia is also saying that what we are also doing, we don't really see what the industry is picking up. So by doing this collaboration, we close that gap. So my advice to other institutions and other training companies like Kasona is we should always come together and collaborate. We should form partnerships so that we'll realize this particular dream.
The training forms part of Kasona's broader commitment to supporting education and capacity building in Ghana's healthcare.
All right, we've got a full business bulletin at the top of the hour. Stay with us. Sports is coming up next.
Head coach of the Black Stars, Otoado, says that he is giving new players opportunity in the national team to assess what they bring to the team. According to him, the decision to invite new players for this month's Unity Cup is to expand the pool that will give him options in the future.
It's a big festival. It's very, very nice to be here, and surely we are using this opportunity to do further tests, to test our players, to see our players on a very, very high level. And we're happy that we are getting this opportunity, and for us it's surely a good test for the upcoming World Cup qualifying games in September. Okay. For us, it's like I said, it's a good test, and it's for our confidence will be good for the upcoming games. And for us, we really need to know. We have so many open questions on players, and I'm happy to give also some new and young players some possibilities to play and to show what they can. And surely after this tournament, some questions will be answered. And for us also, we have a big community here in England. It's very, very important for us also for them to see and feel the players. And so for us, it's a very, very good opportunity to play in this, participate in this tournament. Yeah, I think everyone knows what it's about. Surely it's a friendly game, but it's not really a friendly game. So we know what it's about, and we want our people to be proud of us, and we want our people to to talk from a certain perspective, and surely it's always about who has the better team, and sometimes margins can decide the outcome of the game. I think normally, to be honest, we are on the same level, but yeah, we're hoping that we will win. We're hoping that we'll be successful. It's going to be tough, but I'm sure we can do it. There are a lot of young players, and he's also young, which I want to give a chance. Surely we are observing the players all the time. I was flying around Europe the last months. I saw a lot of matches, met a lot of players. We're getting features from our video assistants, and yeah, he did well, and that's why we wanted to give him another chance. He's still young. His career hasn't been like he expected it to be, but this is normal in football. Sometimes you have ups, sometimes you have downs, and yeah, for him it's another opportunity to show himself.
Ghana will play Nigeria at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and later today, Jamaica will also be coming against Trinidad and Tobago. That's your sports for now. We have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com.
Hello there, good afternoon. You're welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline and Sama Yabua. So our first story for today. Ever feel like social media is taking over your life? The endless scrolling, constant buzzing, and non-stop distractions? You're not alone. Ghanaian hip life artist Tulenke feels it too. And he's decided to take a step back for the sake of his sanity. We have more in the following report.
At the back. To all my boys out there.
Speaking to DJ Slim on Daybreak Hits, Tulenke revealed he's deliberately cutting back on screen time because it's affecting his mental well-being. He shared that even opening just one notification can trap you in a cycle of distraction for 7 minutes or more. To stay focused, he has turned off all notifications because sometimes the best way to protect your peace is to mute the noise.
Because WhatsApp should be when you want to go online. That is when you reply messages. You get it. Like email. If you go your email, you never get a notification from your email unless you turn it on. When you go there, that's when you get it. But everybody, they must snap everything. Someone sends you a streak, then you are distracted. Because there's a stat. When you go, it takes like 7 or more minutes to get back to like your total 100% concentration. So imagine already you just sit down 3 minutes and then you get a notification. You go back. Then you come, then you go back. Yeah, you are distracted. Yeah.
So you don't have notifications on your phone?
No, at all.
You've turned everything off?
I wake up till 12, my phone day D&D. Yeah. Because that's the time I do my most work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. I think when you wake up, your energy levels is at the peak.
Yeah.
So you keep it on business.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you can just engage with people. But you have notifications on your phone, right?
Yeah.
You do have them.
On my phone.
Yes.
When it comes to social media and those things, they are off. Always off.
They are always off.
They are always off.
Which app do you actually use the most?
My apps there. It normally be, let me see. I use ChatGPT a lot. Anki Pro, Pinterest.
Which social media app are you constantly on?
I'll say Pinterest because that's where I get my ideas from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is where you mostly. So if you want to find you for come that side.
That's why I say you know go see who they online. That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I like about Pinterest.
That means my man, they're serious introvert too. You know,
serious.
You know,
one thing about social media, like it's in your face. There's a lot going on. You get
it's too much.
It's too much.
Tulenke is also using his music to spark meaningful conversations. His latest track, Berima, tackles the often overlooked issue of men's mental health. So if your feed is starting to feel like too much, maybe it's time for a Tulenke timeout. Log off, take a breath, and press play on Berima. Jacqueline and Samaya Boys report read to you.
The third episode of Joy Prime's culinary extravaganza, Big Chef Junior Season 4, was a roller coaster of emotions as the 12 contestants tackled the Indomie Challenge. The many twists that were introduced by the judges in this episode kept the young kiddie chefs on their toes. While others faced near eviction, only one team rose above the challenge, wowing the judges with their Indomie recipes. Lois Adeyemi has more in the following report.
Episode 3 of Joy Prime's Kids culinary reality TV show Big Chef Junior Season 4 was a whirlwind of emotions for the 12 contestants. The Indomie challenge with its many twists and turns left some contestants in tears, others forming new bonds, and the rest jubilating in the kitchen. This week, the contestants were put into groups of 2 and were given 45 minutes to be creative with Indomie.
40 minutes as usual. 5 minutes to pick up your ingredients, the back there and the front here. Pick up your ingredients. Now, remember the kitchen safety rules at the same time.
I wish you all the best.
Your time?
Their time starts from now.
Now.
So let's go. Let's go and pick our ingredients.
Let's get on it.
15 minutes into the cooking, the host Michelle Ajekum and the judges introduce a twist that tense up the atmosphere in the kitchen. This exercise was to test their teamwork skills.
So we're going to join you guys together. And then after we're done, you continue with your cooking. Okay, so I'll take the last 2.
The 45 minutes came to an end and all contestants were instructed to plate and present their meals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stop work.
Stop work. Don't touch anything. Turn off your fires.
All fires off.
In the end, Team Marvin and Clifford, the only boys group, beamed with smiles as they emerged star team of the day, while Team Jaden and Elaine, who were in the bottom 2, were evicted.
Presentation?
Check.
Taste?
Check.
Texture?
Check.
Wow. Clap yourself.
Oh. So judges are saying that the boys team is the best team for today. Elaine and Jaden, you're exiting the kitchen. Would you come and give me a hug? Come and give me a hug.
After much deliberation, the judges pardoned them, making it an eviction-free episode. Big Chef, good meals by kids.
Well, next week, the contestants undertake the Create a Memorable Personal Meal Challenge. Unlike last week, this is set to be the eviction week of the season. So who will emerge as a star chef? That's all for the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Sama Yabua. Over to you, MFA Kosiadeti.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And before we wrap, at Lantingpa Basic School in the Northeast Gonja district, rising dropouts have turned teachers into door-to-door campaigners, moving through the community each day, pleading with parents to send their children to school. Emmanuel Javeni reports from Lantingpa in our education series. Crumbling starts.
It's 10 a.m. at Lantingpa, a farming community in the Northeast Gonja district of the Savannah region. Inside the junior high school, the silence is deafening. The classrooms are nearly empty. Here, teachers do not just teach, they beg. Every morning, they come through the village, knocking on doors, pleading with parents to let their children come to school.
Sometimes you can come, some years are there, they will come 2, 3. The others will remain in town. You have to go and talk to them and they will come. And they can come at any time. So for that one, I know for sure they will come. For coming, they will come because we will talk to them. We'll talk to them, and for sure, God willing, they will listen to us. They don't see the importance of education. So after junior high, and even let me say that maybe the parents too don't see the need.
What we do is sensitization. That's what we do, education, massive sensitization, house to house. So I do go house to house, they know me. Then we will tell them the need for them to come to school, unless, if for nothing else, the civilization alone is something that's promising, and that will be different from what we are experiencing now.
Please look out for the full story on the Pulse a little later today. That'll be all for the bulletin. I am MFA Akosiadeti. Thank you for watching, and for more news, though, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you.